In summary, biological systems are information systems with multiple codes. We've ignored all the other codes and just focused on the genetic code. The human genome has 3 billion base pairs in total. It is equivalent to 2.4 billion bits of used information. And the calculated probability that used information arises by chance is 10 to the minus 722 million. It's a small number. If we were to convert that to something we could realize, it's the equivalent probability of selecting one event from 5 million universes. But we only have one universe. So this fails the nonsense detector test, and we would be right in concluding undirected macroevolution didn't happen. Now this is a simplified and optimistic analysis. We know that the central dogma isn't true. It's no longer a single protein per gene. We didn't explain how the genetic code came to be. That would have to be something that would be explained by chance. We note the codes aren't created incrementally. Why? Because you need an encoder and a decoder, and they need to change simultaneously. So you need two different things to change in the same way by chance. We've ignored all the other codes too that need an explanation. Where did they come from? So we're missing many realistic items that make the information arising by chance more improbable. So the case that undirected macroevolution didn't happen is even stronger. I'm sure there are some obvious questions you want to ask. How is this model new? Well, it combines Hubert Yockey's and the ENCODE project's research to develop an information model and probability estimate. And we use the universal plausibility metric as a nonsense detector. Has this new model been refuted? As far as I know, Hubert Yockey's research has not been refuted. The ENCODE, although it's new research, it is valid. I do want to point out that its findings are very challenging to some people's assumptions, and so they have a hard time accepting it. But it seems valid, and it's true, hasn't been refuted. Now, the core question is, why hasn't this been discussed more in biology? If you were to go back in our slides, you would remember that this is the intersection of three disciplines: information theory, chemistry, and biology. Biologists don't understand this kind of math. Just a small short story here is that I had found out about Dr. Yockey's research, a while back. And I printed out all his papers, and on vacation, I read all of his papers. And at the end of it, I was just struck by how solid his research was. And then I wondered, why hasn't this, been understood by biologists? In fact, I'll be honest with you, I was so angry at how this had been ignored that I actually found his number and called him. I actually had an opportunity to talk with Dr. Yockey. And I asked him, I said, I'm an electrical engineer. I understand all of this. I understand the math. I understand the implications. Why is it that biologists don't understand this? And his answer was very simple, and yet very powerful and very true. He said, biologists don't understand math. And I've come to that same conclusion too. So this topic has not been discussed more in biology because they just aren't equipped to understand the math. Hopefully now you do. So in our playlist series, Does Evolution Make Sense? Where are we? This is module 4. This is the second of the 3 models we've discussed that show that the first cell could not have happened by chance. If the first cell could not have happened by chance, evolution could not have gotten started. Module 5 is a strategy to discuss this topic with people. This topic is challenging to some people because they have made evolution part of their religion. And so you would be challenging their worldview. So you need a way to discuss this with them without making them mad. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel before you forget and walk away. We would also suggest you subscribe to our Substack, exblindacademy.substack.com. Thank you so much.